Hello. Today is Tuesday, July 21st, 2026. Here is your daily signal. Let's begin with the escalating conflict in the Strait of Hormuz and its impact on global oil prices. According to Business Insider, renewed military confrontations between Iran and the United States have caused oil prices to surge as the region faces further disruptions. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the world's most strategic waterways, carrying about 20% of all global oil shipments, a staggering 21 million barrels per day. Repeated attacks on tankers and open threats to block the strait have amplified fears surrounding energy security, with shocks to supply routes quickly rippling through the oil market worldwide. Key players such as Iran, Saudi Arabia, the U.S. Navy, and the International Energy Agency are all heavily invested in ensuring stability, while multinational energy giants like Saudi Aramco, ExxonMobil, and BP are feeling the operational pinch due to unpredictable shipping conditions. Recent reports confirm that oil prices have spiked 7% in the wake of a missile strike near the strait, while the U.S. Navy has begun rerouting commercial vessels to navigate around conflict zones. In response to mounting volatility, the IEA has activated contingency plans for emergency oil reserves. Near term, we can expect oil price swings to continue, with Brent potentially topping $90 per barrel if the disruption persists. Asian and European nations are already ramping up their search for alternative pipelines, like the East-West pipeline in Saudi Arabia, and shipping firms are bracing for sharply higher risk insurance premiums. Over the medium term, these shocks could accelerate investments in sustainable energy, nudging the world away from dependence on this critical choke point. Next, shifting focus to the surge of open-source AI out of China and the growing tension it creates for Silicon Valley. Business Insider reports that Chinese innovation in AI, especially from startups like Moonshot AI and established giants such as Baidu and Alibaba, has sent shockwaves through the American tech community as these models match or outperform their Western counterparts. Since early 2024, Chinese tech leaders have not only made major investments in open-source AI research, but global demand for accessible yet powerful AI models has pushed alternatives to closed U.S. offerings into the spotlight, spurring both excitement and anxiety. Notably, the Chinese open-source model Yi1.5x01 AI has reached top performance in industry benchmarks, as detailed by TechCrunch, while Baidu's new multilingual LLM and Alibaba's open-source Vision Transformer model have been highly praised in international coverage. These rapid developments threaten to accelerate competitive pressure on Silicon Valley mainstays like OpenAI and Google, who are now forced to consider opening up their own proprietary technologies. The rise of Chinese open-source AI increases the likelihood of regulatory and export policy friction, especially as governments seek to shield their domestic innovations. Ultimately, as the AI landscape fragments, we may see more localized platforms, a faster global uptake of new models outside the U.S. tech ecosystem, and fundamental shifts in international collaboration around AI standards and research. Finally, to a richer reflection on the deep ties between mathematics, computation, and physical law. Next Big Future highlights a renewed interest in Richard Feynman's classic perspective. Mathematics is not just useful but essential in expressing the fundamental laws that govern the natural world. In his 1964 lectures, Feynman underscored how the universe's underlying truths are most precisely revealed through mathematical language. Since then, advances like computational simulation, beginning with quantum Monte Carlo methods in the 1980s, have allowed physicists to model complex systems that were otherwise out of reach. Today, abstract theories from group theory to quantum electrodynamics, one of Feynman's own foundational contributions, enable researchers to connect mathematics to reality at both quantum and cosmological scales. Top institutions such as MIT, Caltech, and CERN are actively pushing computational approaches, while technology firms including Google and IBM drive the development of quantum computing for physics applications. In the near term, breakthroughs in computational mathematics and increased collaboration between mathematicians, physicists, and computer scientists are expected to speed up the discovery of new laws. Meanwhile, a greater reliance on data-driven, algorithmic models may move the field away from purely analytical solutions, setting the stage for quantum computing to unravel mysteries previously beyond analytic reach. Now, onto the markets. International markets posted mostly moderate gains, with Taiwan leading after EWT surged over 4.8%, while FXI for China large cap fell by 1.17%. Notable strength was also seen in Japan as EWJ advanced 2.55%. In the commodities space, silver soared 4.1% and U.S. oil USO jumped 2.6%, with gold up nearly 2%. In sectors, semiconductors spiked, exemplified by stocks climbing 5.4% and several major chip equities among the day's best performers. The S&P 500 edged up by 0.8%, supported by broad sector gains. Among individual gainers, HLTH outpaced the field with a 25% advance and CFI, China Pharma Holdings, delivered over a 1,156% jump. On the downside, Libang International LBGJ tumbled 76% and Sigel lost 73%, ranking as the session's worst losers. In technology favorites, AMD rose 8% and Intel Inc. was up 8.6%, while Microsoft posted a slight dip. That's it for today. You can find more news and details on our website. Goodbye.